Tapu, Assalamu alaikum, Namaste, Haru Nefer. This is Qesankh Keparu with another exciting video for you. And in this video, I'm going to talk about how to remove obstacles from your life. But before I get into that, I want you to hit the like button on this video. And if this is your first time watching my video here and seeing my pretty face, you can hit the subscribe button to get notifications on when I go live and when I upload recorded videos. If you want to know more about my spiritual teachings, however, you can scroll down. There's 4 links below, and you can download a free ebook, Start Reading Today, and get all the juicy information on spiritual culture, the religion of Asara set. However, if that's not enough for you, you can become a Patreon supporter for as little as $1, $2, $5, $20 per month. It's up to you. You can cancel anytime, and you will get exclusive access to instructional videos on the esoteric, videos that will teach you how to be a magician, videos that will show you how to properly meditate, do breathing exercises, how to contact the ancestors, how to do astral projection, how to do lucid dreaming, how to do self-hypnosis to get rid of anxiety, pain, and especially the pain. If you fell in love with me, we can get rid of that. But I digress. And if you're on a Sarah level supporter, you'll get all your oracle readings for free. So become a Patreon supporter. Next, last but not least, share this video with family and friends so we can get this message out there and start the revolution. So Haru Nefer, Grand Rising, how are you today? Now I'm just, in a very jovial mood right now, so I'm a little bit more relaxed because I finished a major project and it was tough. Boy, was it tough. So I'm ready for the weekend already. I was thinking to myself, man, this weekend is so long. So I got my Ma'ata t-shirt, my shirt, tie-dye shirt, which is blue, and I got my Avengers cap, which I love so much. And we're going to be ready to be talking about some serious business today. So Hetepu Julia, welcome. Thank you for joining. Love to see you. We're going to be talking about some serious subjects here, and I hope I will be imparting some nice spiritual knowledge onto you. And if there's ever something or a topic you'd like me to address, please just put that into the chat, and I'll do my best to try and address it in a future video. How's that for you? Isn't that great? Just a couple of things before we get to the main topic today. Don't forget, we are going to Rio, Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, next month, February. I believe it's going to be February the 17th through the 23rd. And also the 22nd of February is my Earth date. I accept credit cards, gifts from Amazon, all kinds of nice things. So send them to me if you would like to. If not, that's perfectly fine. You can send me well wishes. But we are going to Brazil. Remember that that is the time when Carnival happens, and Carnival was originally supposed to be a religious ceremony, so we'll be going there to celebrate that and have some fun and unwind. And what a way to kick off the new year of 2023. Yes, and 23 is the 23rd hexagram of the I-ching, the Chinese oracle, which means separation. So, and I have used that as a theme for myself personally to separate from people who are not in alignment with my vibrational frequency, meaning people who are caught up more in the 3D, which is third density earth frequency, which is basically materialism, egotistical, self-centered. I have cast away those individuals out of my life so I could have a better life. And does this mean that I'll be spending more time alone? Yes, and that's nothing wrong with that because you are your best friend, And I have ferrets too, so that works out well. But yes, if you're interested in going to Brazil with us, you can join us. There is a link in the description box, and it's to worldpassportbros.com. You can go there, sign up for the trip there. We'd love to have you. It's going to be some fun. We're going to talk about the culture, meet the people, have some of the food. It's going to be awesome. Also, too, for those who are interested in being World Passport Bros, but having trouble really traveling because you're restricted by your job. So what we do is we have set up the Six Figure PM, and that is to train you on becoming a digital project manager where you're managing a team of very creative folks to build websites, mobile apps, and great things like that. And this is a position where you are the boss, you are a project manager, and you'll be able to work anywhere in the world remotely. So once you finish the program, which is 6 weeks, we help you we help you find a job, so that you're not left out in the cold. Because a lot of programs you sign up for, they just like, okay, thank you for your money, thank you for the training. Now go out there on your own and try to find a job, and that is a very tough situation because you're competing against people who have more experience than you. But I have set it up so that we have good relationships with recruiters and who need people. In fact, we're going to start putting out job postings for those who have finished the program and are interested in starting work right away. And this, being a digital project manager is always in demand. You will never be unemployed. And there's a variety of positions to, I shouldn't say positions, but work, how do you say it? You can work full time, part time. You can be a permanent employee or a staff employee or on their payroll, or you can be a freelancer, a contract employee. So it's so much flexibility there, and you can set your hours. You can say, I only want to work for the first quarter or the third quarter, and that's it. So it's very, very flexible in that sense. And the great thing about it is because you're paid six figures, usually, if starting right from the get-go, you have an opportunity to, you can work 3 months and take the next 2 months off if you want. That's how wonderful it is. And come back, and because you're choosing to do that as a contract employee, there's really no question as to why is there that gap in your resume, because you can say, hey, you know what, I'm a contract employee, so that's what I do. I have gaps in my resume, so that they truly won't question that. So don't worry about that. It is when I stumbled onto this and got into this field, it really revolutionized and changed my life. Gotta take my medication there. So this is why I'm trying to give back to folks who are very serious about leveling up. I believe the median income for black men in this country is around 45,000. You can do a lot better. You could do a lot better. So get into my programs, the Six Figure PM. You can go to that website directly, or you can go to worldpassportbros.com. All right. So don't forget those two things, going to Brazil. And remember, we're going to try and hit a different foreign country every month. Okay. We just did Colombia. So Colombia was an experience. You know what was interesting? When I went to Colombia, it was so good. I went right back. It was that crazy, man, because stayed there a week and then came back here to the States and said, I really liked it out there. Let me go back. So I packed up and went right back out there, and even had an even better time. And I actually met a nice, what do you call it, senorita, Latina out there. And we had a really good relationship out there, and it's just being tough trying to continue a relationship because of the language barrier, and it's in a foreign country. So it's tough, but I'm going to show you ways on how to do that successfully. If you're interested in having a real, true, lasting relationship, I'm going to show you how you can do that. Because people, when I did my readings, I have a mentor I go to. He did readings for me, and he said, you know what, the best mate for you, you're probably going to find her in a foreign country. I said, what a coincidence. I'm planning on doing a lot of travel in 2023. So sometimes the mate or the person of your dreams is not in this country. They could be other places. When I went to France, I fell in love with the French women. I was like, oh my God, these women are beautiful. They're all natural. no makeup, friendly. So, I did find some issues with the French men. So, for just so you ladies know, nothing really horrible, just that I think they need to wear a little bit of deodorant. So, they could use a little deodorant. But anyway, I think that's a French thing. That's part of the culture. So, but the Frenchmen are cool. I love their swag. They got it going on. And there's a big thing there where there's a lot of like multiracial people who have the French ancestry and the black ancestry. So they actually love that too. So if you're biracial, they embrace that, and you can read a lot about that. There's a lot of books out there too about that. So, and I did find that French, the language wasn't too difficult. I started picking up on it after I got lost, and I missed my flight, got lost in France by myself, wandering around, trying to get back to my hotel. That was a very interesting event. It actually wasn't a hotel. We had rented an apartment out there, but it was funny. I think I told that story to you guys. I ended up getting lost and actually ran into Spike Lee, and then we had lunch. So that kind of worked out. You know what I mean? I mean, we literally had lunch. It was just me and Spike Lee sitting there, one on one, mano a mano. And if it was, I wish I could go back because I would have probably did a lot of talking. But because he didn't talk much, it kind of intimidated me. I was like, "Ooh, if he's not talking, I'm not talking." But no, you can't do that. You gotta be someone who takes the bull by the horns and goes for it. You know what I mean? Uh, I should have been doing a lot more talking. You want to be out there. So I said, Spike, I got a pitch for you. This is about two lovers, in France, lost. You know. But anyway, I digress. So, whoops, sorry about that. So let's get into this. Let's talk about obstacles. Now, it was fairly recently I've been doing some thinking about some of the obstacles I faced in my life early on, and a lot of them were due to racism. To be honest with you, it wasn't due to like just natural occurring things. And we're all born with a destiny, and that destiny decides how you're going to traverse this thing we call life, right? And if you think about your parents and your grandparents, they faced a lot of obstacles in terms of racism. Um, and they face a lot more than what we are facing now. But when I was younger, I hate to use that term as if I'm old now. I'm not old now, you know what I mean? When I was younger, um, I was in the mix of some very wealthy, influential people. And I really should have took more advantage of that. And I didn't because I was too afraid um, to really put myself out there. Let me give you an example. Don't know if you know James Gunn, but he's now, I think he's heading up Marvel, is it? Or is that DC? I think it's Marvel. And he's the one that is responsible for nixing the Superman movie. He's not going to do a Superman movie. There's not going to be a Black Adam movie because he has other plans. He wants to do a younger version of Superman. But anyway, many people don't know that James Gunn and I were friends. He actually worked on my first film, Bugged, my feature film, and he was cool. We were making it, and then they did a commercial for the film, and he directed the commercial. So he was an awesome person, an awesome director. So we worked together, and he asked me to move in with him in California because he was going to move there to start his career, his film career. And I said I didn't want to go to California at that time because I was still editing my film Bug. But anyway, looking back on that, I should have just said, okay, I'll move, but no, I didn't know he was going to be like making all these big budget Hollywood films. But when my film was finished, I met with a lot of obstacles because I was meeting with Disney, Paramount Pictures, pitching movies. And even though I was able to get in there and make these movies, they still didn't want to. They still didn't greenlight them. And really what I found out was it bothered them that the film would be a quote unquote black film, even though I never said I was going to hire a predominantly black cast. They just kind of figured that. And that scared them because from what they said, the feedback that they gave me is they wouldn't know how to distribute a black film. This is what they told me. So I faced a lot of obstacles back then. And I remember the president of the studio looking at me and before we were about to fly back to New York, he said, don't give up, don't give up. And what did I do? I gave up because it was disheartening to really get such feedback and rejection based on a race thing. You know what I mean? But if I had understood magic in the way I understood it now, things would have been a lot different. All right? So what I'm going to go over with you is going to be a formula for where no matter what obstacle you're facing in your life, you're going to be able to remove it. And it's not going to be a problem. I have the algorithm for that. I have figured it out. And a lot of other people on other channels may make these claims and not live up to them. What I have is the real deal. I was talking to a good friend of mine, Sekar Nefer Tara, and I was saying we have the greatest gift on earth, which is the Kemetic spiritual system, and not many people realize it. Oh, Hetepu Max, yeah. I did a talk about Chat GPT. It's awesome. I love that. I love Chat GPT. It's in its beta phase and it's being beta tested. So I was testing it. It's great, man. That's the wave of the future. That's the problem too. I'm not gonna venture off from the main topic, but it's one of the problems with our communities is that we're not early adopters. We wait too long to get into something. And what happens is white people get in it and then close it off and we can't get in there. Like I'm walking around seeing everybody talk about women and men getting into the rap game, the hip hop game. That door is closed. There was an opening early on where you had NWA, Ice-T, Ice Cube, but that was in the 90s. That door is now closed. And I'm seeing opportunities come up. Like, for example, startups, Silicon Valley. These young kids came and made millions off startups that were about nothing, essentially. They were getting millions of dollars in venture capital that they blew the money on prototypes that never worked, but they got the money. And instead of us getting into the tech field and approaching those venture capitalists and saying, look, I have this idea, invest in my company, it's going to be primarily black owned. Instead of us doing that, we're running around trying to get into the rap game, if you know what I mean. That's so ridiculousness. There's money to be made. See, you've got to get into something very early on the ground floor. And if you don't do that, the other way to get into it is if there is a paradigm shift or a pivot. For example, YouTube is going through a pivot right now. So it's an opportunity. See, YouTube is saturated with videos. So if you start a channel, how do you stand out? It's like almost impossible. But now there's a pivot. See, if you got into YouTube very early on, you could have established yourself, got a lot of views, and been making, you could be making millions of dollars. But that's done because it's saturated. What you need to do now is look at the pivot that's happened. And the pivot is short form videos, shorts. And if you understand that this is the latest thing, latest and greatest thing, you can get into this market and dominate the shorts. And I love shorts, short films, YouTube shorts, the Facebook shorts. So there is a pivot that you can take advantage of. But we don't study this stuff. We do like the backwards thing. We wait for something to be oversaturated and we jump into it. Like for example, when Kevin Samuels, he was a fashion consultant, and then he started offering advice to women on dating. When he hit 1 million subscribers and started to be big, everybody jumped in and saturated the market, and now no one's really making any money in that field. It's oversaturated. But instead of looking for a pivot, everybody just wants to do what he did because it was a proven market. No, you got to start looking for the paradigm shift. I remember when I used to go to conventions like the Essence or the Black conventions, and all the businesses they had with t-shirt businesses. I'm like, you know how many businesses there are out there, and all we're doing is t-shirts business and fashion lines? We got to start thinking differently. You know what I mean? It's a shame. It really is a shame. But there's something wrong with our thinking to where somebody has to prove it in order for us to jump in. No, you should be looking for an opportunity in the market, either get on the ground floor or looking for that paradigm shift. And it's happening like all the time. You just got to look at the market right now. You could get in there and start your own startup. In fact, I'm going to be talking about that very soon. You know? But people don't understand this. I don't know why they don't get it. Because we tend to get into something late where it's oversaturated and think we can make money out of it. Look how many young guys think they can get into rap now. You know how oversaturated that market is? Let's be real. It's oversaturated. I'm telling you. Now let's talk about this removal of obstacles. Now, if let's say, for example, you want to get into a career and you don't maybe have the money to train for it or study for it, or the doors are just closing on you. I just went to, we just did a presentation actually for a client. She's friends with Karen, I think her name is Karen Baker, and Karen Baker is very famous in the e-commerce industry. But even she admits that even though she have achieved a nice niche for her company, she still gets doors slammed in her face. So she said that she's going to change her name, and she gets these doors slammed in her face because she's a woman, she believes. So she's going to change her name to Joe Baker. It's going to be on her business card, and she's going to see if that makes a difference. That's very interesting. But here's the thing: is it proven that that's really what the cause of the problem is? Thank you, Max. I appreciate that. Please don't forget to hit the like button and donate to the channel, man. Donate to the channel if you appreciate the information I'm about to give you. So let's get down to the brass tacks of removing obstacles from your life, because I've learned to do this. Now, let me just give you the context of all of this so you understand when I mean removing obstacles, okay? I went to I said, well, where's the first country I'm going to go to? I could go to Cuba, I could go to Colombia, I could go to Brazil, I could go to Dominican Republic, I can go to the Philippines, which I've always wanted to go to. But where should I go? Because you know what? There's a language barrier. And trying to learn their system of money exchange is well, that's another challenge. Where could I go to that I would be successful and there would be no obstacles placed in my way? Well, what I did was I went to the oracles. I went to the great oracle of Tahuti. And I asked Tahuti, I said, what country should I go to first? Tahuti said, you go to Colombia first. That's the first one you go to. And if you go there, you're going to have a sensational time. And I was like, well, I'm not really feeling Colombia. Like, I really feel Dominican Republic. And then I did my reading, and it was like, no, Dominican Republic's going to have obstacles for you. And plus, people are showing up missing and dead and stuff like that. You go to Colombia. So based on my reading, I went to Colombia. Well, let me backtrack a bit. I said, well, when should I go to Colombia? Should I go September, October, November? He said, you go in October. I said, October, really? So when I went in October, lo and behold, I didn't know that I had already friends there who were also visiting during that month. I had no idea they were there. So I hooked up with them and we had a blast. I was like, the oracle was right. And that's just a bit of an example of removing the obstacles. The language barrier actually was not even a problem. Because the hotel that I stayed at, that the oracle told me to stay at, had many of the people there speaking English. And because I was so pretty, they gave me some free stuff. You know what I mean? But the point that I'm saying is that there are these things that are going to stop you in your path, that you're going to need to navigate around or remove. Haruki says he makes a way where there is no way. So no matter if you have family members that are causing you trouble, a job that's a problem and you can't seem to find another job, you got to learn to tune into magic. Now, I'm not asking you to do a voodoo ritual, but what I'm saying is that when you work with the oracles, you have a system that's going to help you manipulate time and space. Let me say that again. It's going to help you manipulate time and space. See, when I talked about that time years ago, where I was in the mix with all these very famous people, hanging out with Angela Bassett, Ron Howard, and all these people, and I was worried. I said, oh man, that time has passed. And the oracle says, no. Go see Qesankh. So what does it mean by saying go see Qesankh? Well, this is Qesankh. Qesankh deals with cycles. And people, if you're a broker, if you deal with the stock market, you know what cycles are. You see, I'm thinking, oh, that my film career is over. I'll never make it. Oracle's like, no. Are you dead? I said, what? Are you dead? I said, no, I'm not dead. It says, well, then the game is not over. You see, I just kept thinking linear, like I was taught in the university system. But things are cyclical. So the oracle was saying, your time will come again. It's going to be a 10-year period of difficulties, and nothing's going to manifest. But once that 10-year period is over, then the obstacles will be removed, and you'll get the 35th hexagram in the I-ching, which is progress. And I'm doing my yearly reading, and so lo and behold, I was shocked that the reading was like 2023, full steam ahead, obstacles removed. I was like, whoa! Versus last year, I was faced with all kinds of obstacles. My mates took karate classes and were kicking my ass. And I was like, oh man, this is a terrible time for me. They weren't making sweet love to me. I was like, what's happening? It seems like everything's going wrong. It's just a cycle. It's just a cycle. That's all it is. And if you can wait out the cycle based on your oracle reading, then the obstacles will be magically removed. Isn't that something, children? That's how it works. You see, the ignoramuses, the neophytes, your Tony Robbins and all that will stand there and say, you can achieve anything. Just go out there and push through it. The motivation. No, no. There are things not of your making that will stand in your way. And if you run towards it, it'd be like running into a brick wall and knocking yourself out. And there's nothing you can do. But if you understand that it's just a cycle, and that if you bide your time and wait, that door will open again and you can leap in. These brothers on the street trying to sell you their CDs for their tracks are stupid. Let me tell you the dumbest thing I've encountered. Max, I'll get to your question. That's a very good question. I met this brother, right? And this is just an idea, a very limited mindset thinking, okay? He wanted to self-publish a book. I told him I don't know about self-publishing. Did you do a reading on that? So he went ahead and he self-published it. And I said, listen, I'll put a website together where you can sell it on the website. Therefore, you can reach the masses. You know what he did? He said, nah. And I'm walking on 125th Street. I think it was Roger. His book was on tech. And I'm seeing Roger selling his book on 125th Street. I go, what's up, Roger? And he has all these books there on 125th Street. I said, why are you selling your book on the street? For one thing, that cheapens it. Why didn't you build a website and sell your book online where you can sit back at home and make money? Have that sucker be drop shipped. But his mindset was so limited. He was caught up in that hustler mentality. Yeah, start up on digital, to answer your question in the chat there. Because that was getting in on the ground floor. Back then, Amazon was not as big as it is now. So you could start selling your book as an accomplished author. And he was a great guy because his book was actually talking about getting into tech. But he wasn't reaching the masses. He was just limited to the people that would be walking by on 125th. I said, if you want to do that in addition to selling your book online, okay, fine. But he was just solely dependent on selling his book on 125th. Limited thinking on our part. He was caught up in an antiquated pattern of behavior. So Max L says, what pushes people to go dark on thinking negative thoughts and what keeps them going with the positive thoughts? So your thoughts are a link in a chain. In NLP, we call it a pattern. In the Kemetic spiritual system, we call it a conditioning. The more you think about something, the more it becomes a pattern or a conditioning, your subconscious mind. You're programming your subconscious mind to have those particular thoughts. So you have to break the pattern. When I did my seminars, I used to have people come up and think about something in which emotionally upset them. And I'd take a glass of water and I would pour it on their face because they would be reliving the experience, which sometimes would be traumatic, emotional. To break that pattern, I would throw the water on their face and then it would stop them in mid-pattern, and they would transition to a new thought process. And then I would have them start talking about something else. Like, for example, I had to get some type of nerve test done. So the doctor saw I had a Kemetic t-shirt on. So he walked in, and I didn't know what this nerve test was involving, but it actually involves these long needles being stuck into me all over my body, and it was painful. So he came in, and when he pulled out those needles, my body had a physiological reaction to it. So I started getting nervous. My person started getting nervous. And he asked me about my Kemetic t-shirt. So I started talking about it was Sebek. Sebek is the father of facts and beliefs. And he was going, Let's pretend this is the needle. And he was going, tell me more, tell me more. And I said, well, you know what? He deals with labeling and all that. And he says, yeah, okay, tell me more, tell me more. And as he was asking me all these questions about Sebek, what he was doing, he was breaking the pattern. I couldn't be in a state of anxiety and fear because I was talking about something that generally interested me. He knew what he was doing. He's a professional. I mean, he's been doing this for years. He knows that people get nervous when they see those needles. He knows those needles are painful. So he gets them to talk about something that makes them happy or they're interested in, to break that pattern of fear, anxiety. So I hope that answers your question, Max. So anyway, if you're wondering, see, you guys should not be doing anything based off your mind. See, your mind has a tendency of going toward that which is pleasurable and avoiding that which is fearful. Your mind your thoughts are not your own. Your thoughts are independent. They come and go. So what I'm saying to you is that you don't know what's good for you and what's bad for you. But the oracle is the mind in the word of God. It is Tehuti. It can show you where the obstacles lay and where the path is clear. My mentor did a reading for me. He says, oh yeah, this is going to be difficult in the beginning. I said, oh really? He says, yeah, but just stick it out. In about 3 months, it's going to clear up and it'll be okay for you to go and you'll start making money. But now I would have never known that. So I would have started this business and probably 2.5 months into it, quit because it was too difficult. But I didn't have the oracle to reveal to me that, hey, you know what? Obstructions will be removed after 3 months and it'll be full steam ahead. Now, sometimes people don't like this because that 3 months may be 2 years for them or 10 years. I have went through a process where I used the i-ching. And the I-ching has a system which can show you your cycles in your entire life. It spans your entire life and gives you the cycles. And it told me I would go through a 10-year cycle of where things would be difficult, but then it would transition to things opening up for me. But I had to take advantage of when that door opened, because it's only open for a year. And once that door closed, I would go through another 10-year cycle of difficulties. So I had to take advantage of that 1 year of opportunities. People who deal with astrology know this. They can tell you this. Women, that's why women were the first priestesses, or the first priests, because they're naturally right brain, so they're in tune to the subconscious mind, and they also have their menstrual cycle, so they understand cycles. You feel me? They understand cycles. And we have to learn to tap into that power. Okay, so what? We're getting our butts kicked by police. This whole police brutality has gone out of hand. When will there be an opportunity for us to change the situation? Let's go to the oracle, because it's only a cycle. And this is something that they won't tell you, but it's true. A lot of the stockbrokers are into astrology because they're trying to find out the cycles of stocks, when to invest, when to pull out. They know astrology is legit. So you have to understand. You may be going through a cycle where you just can't find that right person for you. Don't try to remove the obstacle. Go to the oracle and find out, okay, how long is this cycle going to last? When will there be an opportunity for me to meet someone? And if not here in this country, is an opportunity to meet someone outside of this country. See, you have to understand, this is the key to understanding the foundational principles for which life operates. You feel me? This is getting into some serious esoteric stuff. Because many people, this is why people are so afraid of doing oracle reading, because I'm afraid it'd be a negative reading. Well, that's a negative reading. What you perceive as negative, it's only for the moment. It may open up later for an opportunity for you. When this client wanted me to work for them, they wanted me to direct an animation commercial for their AI technology. And they were a very challenging and difficult client, to be honest with you. But I took on the job. And they said, Qesankh, we only have one rule, that when you come to us with bad news or something that doesn't work, you must use the word or the words, it's an opportunity. I said, really? I said, yeah. And then I started listening to their employees talk, and they would use that terminology whenever a problem came. And they go, well, it's an opportunity. And they're so right. This is why we need to, as a people, develop our own language, because this language of this Western world manifests within us limitation. That's why I have challenges myself using the word minority or black or ADLS or FBA. I don't want to use terms that limit who we are, because who we are gods and goddesses. We are consciousness. We are not the physical body. We are not a race. When people, this is what people laugh. People like, oh, Qesankh, I see you with pictures with white girls. You like white girls? I'm going, no, not really. I mean, that's not my, if you ask me, I'll tell you what I'm partial to. But people are so limited in their mentality that they say stupid things. And I say, first off, we're all consciousness. There's just one consciousness, and that there's not individuality. Individuality is an illusion. So stop separating us. That's how they were able to pull this whole racism scheme on us, by creating the whole entire notion of race, to create separation and individuality, and then put us against each other. And we bought into it. And therefore, because we bought into it, we manifested that. And in order to unmanifest it, that's an interesting term I just used, unmanifest, we're going to have to start taking on new labels and definitions that allow us to think differently. That's Sebek. He's the master of labels and definitions and illusions that pertain to that. You see, when you ask me what my preference is, I'll say I have no preference, because I am Oser. I have no likes and dislikes. But my person does have a preference. But the true nature of who I am, the self, has no preference. It is beyond the influence of emotions, because Tahuti says nothing has a quality in and of itself. Nothing has a quality in and of itself. Nothing is intrinsically bad or good. You can't say white people are bad. You can't. And be a spiritual being. You can't. You can't say black people are good or bad and be a spiritual being. It betrays you. And it manifests within you a nemesis. Why are you manifesting a nemesis by using the terms good or bad? If you become indifferent to it, if you say that that's neither good nor bad, it just helps me to spiritually grow. This is why you come to earth and you have these challenges, because your higher mind, not the person you are, your higher mind made an agreement with Tahuti. Tahuti says, listen, you're going to come to earth and you're going to lose a leg and you're going to be homeless. Do you agree to this? And your higher mind says, Well, if it helps me spiritually grow, I'll do it. And you in your lower mind, which is your Sahu thinking, out of the mammalian and reptilian brain, says, why did I make that agreement? This is terrible. But then you remember, says too, he says, listen, you can have an endless number of lives, incarnations. This one life where you have one leg and homeless is just a blip, a grain of sand in all the beaches. You can have an infinite number of lives. Why are you focusing on this one? Because you forgot who you were. God man, God woman. And you're focusing just on the person. This life is just a cycle. This is one cycle among an infinite number of cycles. You feel me? You understand what I'm saying? When you start identifying with your true self, which is consciousness, the God within you, then you understand the real purpose of life. Isn't that cool, children? But if you focus on the ego and why is all this stuff happening to me, why does life hate me as if life is conspiring against you specifically, then you become trapped in the third dimension, third density. You become Sahu. And that's most of this people on this planet. And it was designed so that you become Sahu, so you can keep reincarnating and servicing the ruling elite. They tricked you. They're laughing at you. You see, while they're hidden behind the veil, using magic and spiritual powers, they got you to believe that there is no such thing as magic and spiritual powers or cycles. So you operate as if life or this reality is finite. And that the physicality is the end all and be all of everything. And they're laughing at how dumb you are. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not being facetious either. I'm not being facetious. They are literally laughing at us because we're caught up. See, there are two states when you dream. There is you being immersed in a dream and not realizing it's a dream, and then there's lucid dreaming where you know you're dreaming. And in this state that we're in, we must understand it's just a dream. And that who we really are is consciousness, infinity. Okay, Max says, how can one make your life as Netchum as possible while still battling your emotions? Woo. Well, you see, you don't have a right to have a life that's where you're Netchum. Netchum means sweet, beautiful, right? Until you learn to control your emotions. When you can be the master of your emotions, you will live a life that's Netchum. Until then, you'll be the 58th hexagram in the I-ching. Whatever life throws your way, you react to that and become emotionally unstable. That's the state of our people. We are psychopaths. We really are. We're mentally ill. We're getting into Satanism by listening to this rap that these labels are putting out, because they specifically are targeting black people with these rap lyrics to make us satanic and evil, to make us overly emotional and violent. That's what the music is designed to do. Now it's trying to indoctrinate us into alternate lifestyles, sick sexual deviant behavior. That's what it's doing. But instead of us seeing the trap, we just run towards it. Yeah, let's do it. Let's just do it. You know? So, in terms of your oracle, your career reading, let me just give you an example of my career reading. So, my career reading told me, hey, I can do this, but Netter wants me to be a priest. I said, but I love filmmaking. And the oracle said, okay, well, then there's going to be a 20-year period of challenges and hardship where you'll accomplish nothing. But after 20 years, you'll have success. Are you willing to go through that 20-year period? And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. But I forgot that there's a 20-year period, so I'm going through there trying to make waves, trying to get my name out there, and it was very difficult. And I said, why aren't things working? Oh, I forgot, 20-year period. Right. And then suddenly the doors opened for me. And it will for you too. Some people are in careers they shouldn't even be in. Because the oracle tells you what career you're best suited for to help you have an easier life. But everybody becomes influenced because they want to have bitches and money. I want to live like a rock star. And get into that, which is only used as a distraction to keep you caught up in that materialism. And you're not pursuing what you were meant to do, which you would have an easy time. We're very hard-headed. We're very hard-headed. God's saying, listen, if you do this startup, you're going to have money, you're going to be a boss. But if you start doing this rap thing, ain't nothing going to come from that. You're going to get hooked on drugs and alcohol. But I like music. I like the music. And God is like, all right, God can't make you. God will never make you do what's right. God was like, okay, go ahead. Do that. If you want to do that, go ahead. You get caught up in deviant behavior. Go to jail. Baby mama sue you. Take all your money. Go ahead if that's what you want. Like the prodigal son, you come back to God and God says, oh, look who's back. Wow, you got no clothes on you. You're buck naked. Looks like you had a pretty hard time. Now you ready to listen to me? Now you ready to do that startup? I'm just giving you an example. You know what I'm saying? You see, a higher being, an intellectually superior person, knows how to move in the world according to the cycles, according to the oracle readings. An ignoramus thinks they can do just whatever they want to do when they want to do it. Life does not work that way. There are serious forces up against you. You know? And these forces will mess you up. This is why you've got to learn to navigate life with the help of an oracle. You hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, then. Good. But a lot of us think, I can do this on my own. I don't need no help. You know? All right, go there. That's Haru Tem. Haru Tem is a young person, a young mindset that thinks they know everything. My brother was like that. I had a hard time teaching him. As the older brother, I'm like, look, let me impart my experience to you. What you're doing is wrong. And he was caught up in some really negative stuff. And I tried to tell him. And in the final days of his life, and he died. You know what he said to me? He said, Qesankh, you should have beat the hell out of me. You should have stopped me from doing those things. I said, no, I can't do that. Because it's your life and you're an adult. I can't beat you up to stop you from doing drugs. Although there was many times I wanted to. Do you know he took $50,000 of his own money, took it out the bank, disappeared for a week, came back broke. I said, you had $50,000. Where did that money go in a week's time? All on drugs. And I remember him telling me, because he was always into cars, he wanted a new car. I said, well, you could have took that 50 and bought you a new car. Are you telling me how do you used all that on drugs? I know your dealer must be happy when he saw you coming. Came back and asked my mother for some money. And she gave him some. I said, no, don't give him no money. Because he didn't give you any money to help you with rent or anything. Not one dime to help her with rent. I was appalled when she told me that. I said, did he give you any money? She goes, no, not a dime. I was like, whoa, wow. Now, we all have our addictions, right? Could have took 20,000, put that away, and use the rest on drugs. I'm just saying, if you were smart, And when he passed, I felt like I failed. I tried to get him into the temple to learn the Kemetic spiritual culture, but he rejected it. When he went to jail, I would write him letters and talk about Asara, talk about Aset, talk about the Tree of Life. When he came out of jail, he goes, Qesankh, you remember those letters you wrote me in jail about the spiritual religion thing? I go, yeah. He says, you know what I did with those? I said, what? He said, I just threw them in the trash. Haru Tim, hard-headed. Haru Tim, nothing I can do. Don't be that way. Don't be that way. Our ancestors gave us the oracles for a reason, to guide us in life so that we may have a successful life, a spiritual life. Don't waste your life. Don't make it unnecessarily hard for you. Please don't. Because this Western man, this European man, whatever you call him, he's not God. He doesn't have the answers. He doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't. He's just a puppet, and the real puppeteers are the ruling elite, who again are just up there laughing at everybody, how they have everybody's fooled. Do you see? You see what I'm saying? Anyway, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Remember to hit the like button, donate to the channel if you get an opportunity. This is Qesankh Ma Keperu, son of Ma'at and Tehuti. Ma'at is the beautiful goddess Heteru. Until my next video, Amin Ra.